Don't judge me. I just wish you knew. That's just like you. I miss you all the time. Need you.
What's going on, people? What's going on, people? What is going on? As you already know, this is
You sound
Thursday.
a little low, King Down. Get your ass up.
Hold on, hold on. For some, for some damn reason, I tried to put it on my Twitter page and it said something was wrong with it, so I had to change it up. So,
Uh,
mhm. So y'all already know, man. It's Thursday. We've been out of action for a week. We decided that we can't do 2 weeks in a row. So welcome to the Six Man Convo for Thursday. I am your host, K Sound, aka the Sixth
you
Man.
real low, Kev. You real low. Real low. I don't know.
Really, really low.
Yeah,
Okay.
you real.
Because I'm trying not to yell right now. I'm trying not to yell. Oh well, not right.
No, yeah, I don't know what's going on. But we are going to be talking about um obviously Matt Ryan, and I think this conversation is going to be hella interesting for everybody because um there's a standard with the quarterback position that we really want to talk about. We got a couple. We actually got a couple conversations that's going to be interesting tonight, and that's the Matt Ryan and the quarterbacks, the standard of Matt Ryan and the quarterbacks, and then we're going to be talking about what's going on with the Atlanta Hawks. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings in regards to the Atlanta Hawks and Trey Young and all of the young pieces that they've gotten. And we got that. We might be talking about old Slippery, the old Slippery dude on top of it. So it's gonna be an interesting show that's for sure.
Okay. All right, can you hear me now?
That's the
Okay, so apparently I had the wrong headset in. I don't know. Look, I'm on this one, Bobby. Like, it's been one hell of a week. But, like I said, man, K Styles here. And, like you said, riding shotgun today. It is Mad Mike Sports, aka the Senator, is in the building.
yeah.
So, we have a very, very good show coming up for y'all this evening. We got a few topics that we want to get some want to get y'all's input on. But before we do that, man, we'll give a shout out to a few people that's in here right now. We got King Treyway, we got Georgia, Texas boy, and we got Diamond in the building. Um,
Diamonds
Di-
and pearls.
Diamonds in the sky. I can go twice as high. Let's take a look.
Oh,
It's in a book. Sweet and rainbow. I really meant to say butterflies in the sky, but you had to remix it. That's one second.
yeah. It is what it is.
Well, imagine what's going on South Side, what's happening, what's happening. Um, and Mike, what does that conclude for this show?
It's the real
Wow,
call.
wow, 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 wow.
Well, how do you know that's what I was doing? You just see what I'm talking about? We here. That's
I'm a
why he the one here.
voodoo child.
He
Lord
just knew that's what I
says
was
I'm a voodoo child. I'm a Jimi Hendrix fan.
doing.
So,
He knew it. God damn.
I'm a Jimi Hendrix fanatic, bro. All right,
I
look,
can
look.
tell.
Yeah, Southside. He already know what it is. The real
Mhm.
nigga roll call. The real nigga roll call. We try not to use that too often, but
But
at least y'all know, y'all at least know where it came from when we did that.
mhm.
But yeah, I'm a Jimi Hendrix fanatic, bro. Like I said, I hear anything resemblance of Voodoo Child, Hey
Mhm.
Joe, Georgia Blues, Purple Haze,
Mm.
all along the Watchtower. If I hear anything resemblance of those, Foxy Lady, yeah, I'm rocking the Jimmy. I'm rocking the Hendrix. So
Mm, mm,
let's go
mm,
ahead and get right into it, man. We have three topics for this show this evening. Um, we are talking about what is the Matt Ryan standard for quarterbacks.
oh, not the Matt Ryan standard.
hmm We want to talk about
Mm-hmm.
the new look Atlanta Hawks and what does that mean for the upcoming season. And we're going to be talking about Iceberg Diddy, aka
Woo, boy.
Sean Combs. But we're gonna save that for the end of the show.
Save the best for last. I guess
He
that's what
said,
we doing.
well, maybe say, you know, some music is demonic now. Be careful you allow it in your soul.
Look. Let me speak on that. Um, music is a gift. Music is a gift. Words is a gift, but it's just how you use it. So, like,
hmm
I think people take it too far when they talk about what's demonic and is your intentions behind everything. Your words, the music,
hmm
your way of
hmm
life. I mean, we see now with Diddy that if sexual, like sexuality, being sexual in certain things could be, it's all your intentions, man. So look,
Right.
that's a gift to have to be musically talented or talented in any way. It's just with your intention. So I don't get too caught up in that. Music is demonic. Okay.
Music, like I said, the thing about it is all forms of music has a good spirit and a bad spirit. The funny
Mm-hmm.
part about it is a lot of the good music that you think that you know actually could possibly have demonic intentions
Mm-hmm.
behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, it's all about the vibration, the vibrational feel of a lot of the music that you listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you just one of these folks out here that listen to stuff like King Von, um, stuff like Thug and all this shit all the time, that could
Mm-hmm.
be considered certain types of low vibrational music.
Exactly. It's the intention behind it. So
hmm
like, if you looking listening to booty shaking music, what good you think gonna come out of that? So it
hmm
really is really what you are
Right,
listening. It's the
right.
intention behind it. It's just certain people, like you said, King Von. Oh man, you got a good beat, man. But he talking about, bitch, I'ma kill you, bitch, I'ma kill you, I'ma shoot your brother and your cousin and your mama too.
hmm
Like,
hmm
no crap. That's the money. We know. So, like people, like I said, it's really your intention. And before I say this, we are live on Mad Mike Sports behind the scenes. I just want to give people um, what it is what it's like to be behind the scenes, just a little bit of things. So if y'all on Mad Mike Sports, head over to 6MK Live. We are live, people. This is the 6MK channel. 6MK Live channel. We are live. We're gonna be talking about the Hawks. We're gonna be talking about the Atlanta Falcons, and we're gonna talk about little slippery iceberg Diddy. Okay, so head
Hmm.
over right now to 6MK Live.
Yeah, because because like you said, when you start listening to stuff, well, like you said, if you listening to Sexy Red and Meg Thee Stallion and all that jazz and stuff, that could be considered low vibrational music.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I can digress. And Wade Levy said Tupac exposed the music industry. No shit, shit, man, that music industry been exposed even before Tupac.
Mm-hmm.
It was right around when Tupac finally got where
We got a hold of it. Mm-hmm.
eventually got off. That's when people started looking at stuff behind that. Like I said, Jay Z got a lot of music that's kind of low vibrational too. It may
Yes,
not seem like it
because you
because
like
it's
it.
kind of on the vibe side. Yeah, like I said, for me, the type of music I listen. See, the thing is, I listen to all genres of music, so I kind of understand between vibrational and low vibrational. I have an easier time kind of deciphering between the two.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it is, the best way to decipher if a song is good for you or bad for you is based on the emotion that you have when you listen to it, and that's the best determining factor to do so. Am I lying about that much?
No, no, you know how I am when I can't type and talk at the same time. I'm fucking horrible. Right? I'm probably one of the worst
Can't
people that
multitask.
cannot type.
Can't multitask for
I,
shit.
I'm so bad. I'm so bad. I hear you, but my brain be like, yeah, you want to respond now or later? But no,
Right.
man. Like I said, it. Nah, like I said, man, it's so many people out here that's putting a lot of poison into music, but you know the beat, how they dress, what they stand for, like certain things. You have a
Mm,
connection with certain people. You kind of like
mm,
you gloss over it, to be honest. You glance over it and don't think none of it because, oh man, he wear the same thing. Oh, I like to wear dresses too. Oh, I like to wear this too. Oh man, he got the Jordans on too. Oh man, he like to smoke weed like I like to smoke weed. Oh, he drink Hennessy like I drink. And y'all just disregard all. And that's what a lot of those artists they and another
right.
guy that exposed that, not to get too caught up in this conversation because I know that's what we get, but that's what a guy like Nipsey Hussle, he exposed that same. He brought up a light to it himself. So, like I said, it's really just you and who you choose to pay attention to, man. Anything and everything can be demonic and low
Yeah.
vibration.
Yeah, like I said, I done got to a point now. Like I said, I'm listening to more country music now than I ever
Hmm.
did
Yeah.
because I've expanded myself. Like
Hmm.
you said, I never thought I'd be like I said, I do a couple country songs that
Hmm.
I realized that I didn't know, but like you said, once you start experimenting with different genres, you kind of have an easier time understanding the difference between what's low vibrational and what's good vibrational.
Hmm.
So let's go ahead and get right into the topics, man, because that actually was not a beginning sidebar that I was expecting because but the original sidebar was I guess Jamar Chase had a few words for Patrick Mahomes as far as far as I don't know if the quote is true. I haven't really read too much into what quotes I've been hearing around, but so but I was saying that for that time. Let's get right into these topics, man. Mike, how you want to kick this thing off, man? Because you want to kick it off talking about the Atlanta Hawks and the moves that they made and what does that mean? You know, let's kick it off with that. Let's kick it off with that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right. So I was actually supposed to go live about this earlier this week, but I got off late, so worked so late that I ended up falling asleep. But the Atlanta Hawks, as what we see in the beginning of free agency, because you already know July 1st is the beginning of free agency. That's how I know. That's how I know. That's how I know my birthday is around the corner is when free agency is. Nikhil Alexander Walker, um, Luke Kennard, Clint Capella going back to Houston. It's possibilities they talk about the Lakers might be looking at Onyeka Okongwu. My personal thoughts on the free agency is it seems like they're trying to go back to the formula in which the Hawks were at their most successful, and that's kind of putting a lot of guys who are 3-point threats on the floor to space it.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, to kill Alexander Walker, I wasn't too familiar with his game like that. So I was trying to figure out, okay, so why is everybody so up and down about this guy saying that he's the unequivocal win for the Hawks? Like you said, just for the simple fact that it's saying that he's pretty much going to be his play style pretty much is going to fit with what they got right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I know about Luke Kennard. I know about him being one of the best 3-point shooters in the game.
I mean, for me, I look at it as a package signing. Like if you're looking at him as an individual, and then you try to say, all right, he's not a megastar, yes, but what the Atlanta Hawks are doing, um, they like to play fast and they play the passing lane. I
Mm,
mean, nobody better than Dyson Daniels. Like that dude is the best defensive player in the league when it comes down to the perimeter defense and playing the passing lane. Like he's that guy. And then you couple that with another guy, Nikhil. Why is my
right.
doing that? You're doing that, Nikhil Alexander, whatever the hell his name is. Um,
No, that's what we're gonna call him. No,
yeah, I look. I'm gonna just whatever the hell his name. Uh,
no.
yeah, he plays a lot like Dyson, so they're counting on the fact that uh, he's gonna play. They have another guy that plays similar to how Dyson plays. So if he comes off the court, um, they'll have another guy like that because that's the thing. You want to have a rotation of defensive guys, and at some point in the game is played on the perimeter. So if you got two guys that play, he ranks kind of highly too. If we just look at the averages,
Mm,
Nikhil does. It's similar to Dyson, so he gets a lot of deflections. He plays fast, and that's what playing with a guy like Trey Young, and you got Zachary Ricochet. That dude can handle the ball himself. He's a big
mm,
guy. They counting him. They counting on Ricochet to kind of develop like Giannis. So they want him to
mm,
play the perimeter. They want him to play big. They want him to be a ball handler. So if at some point they try to take the ball because, like, you remember when the Hawks played Miami. Miami just tried to take the ball out of out of Trey's hand, and they just full court pressing the whole time. So
Mm.
that this is why you want to play fast and you want to have guys like Ricochet to take the ball out of Trey's hands, so Trey can just be a scorer at times. So that's why you
Okay.
get guys like
Okay.
the kill, so they can play faster,
Hmm.
get Trey back in position where he can do what he can do, and that's be a
And,
scorer at times.
and I believe when healthy, a guy like Kristaps Porzingis definitely
Mm-hmm.
is somebody that can embody that. Um, and I think that's one of the biggest things that this team has been missing for the last few years
Mm-hmm.
is a front court player who can space the floor and who can space the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all know as Hawks fans, Trey Young, like I said, Trey Young plays a particular style that benefits him when he has a lot of space and a lot of guys who are threats in space.
Mm-hmm.
I.e., a bunch of guys that can shoot the damn ball. And let's be honest, after that 2021 season, they tried they tried to switch the philosophy and put a lot of athletes around here. Many of these athletes can't shoot worth shit.
Yeah, they can't
Let's
shoot.
do they can't shoot worth a damn. Because even when they tried the big move with DeJounte Murray, you realize DeJounte Murray, he was nothing as advertised for this Hawks
Mm-hmm.
team, and it set them back a year or two. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where uh, uh Dyson Daniels and Zach Ricochet come in at because that those if they pan out the way I think they are, that's going to be redemption for that that Dejounte Murray trade, which in future terms, what got Landry Fields fired.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the move that they're making. I like where I see what the vision is for them. I see where they're trying to go. They're trying to rebuild that team to be kind of like 2021. Like I said, not necessarily a bunch of household names, but like you said, you have a bunch of guys that do particular skill sets well. A lot of them
Mm-hmm.
guys can shoot. Like you said, we know Trey Young is not the greatest defender at that position.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? How do you hide that deficiency? You put a bunch of defenders around. Des Diggs, what's going on? Georgia, Texas boy. Said Alexander Walker is also the cousin of Shea Gilders Allen. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah, he said the problem with DJ next to Trey surprisingly wasn't his offense. His off was actually great. Offense was great, but his defense next to Trey was bad. I mean, if you really looked at DeJounte Murray really wasn't that great a defender even in San Antonio. Like you said, the whole team itself philosophy was about defense from the inside out. They tried to build the Hawks as a straight offensive juggernaut, and it ain't did shit for them. That's just my opinion on it. So
Yeah.
so so my question to you is, as of right now, what do you think the best move the Hawks made this offseason was so far? Like you said, even if you want to include the draft of the kid out of Georgia, Asa Newell, what do you think is the best move the Hawks made?
Understanding. Understanding what your players are. That's the thing. Like There's a big there's a big misconception when it comes down to learning how to build a team. Everybody think you just gotta have
What?
some of the you gotta draft the number one player in the draft and the number two player in the draft. Like, no, that don't mean nothing. You've already got a Michael Jordan. You already got Trey Young. When you have a Michael Jordan, you have a Trey Young, you have a Kobe Bryant, you have a Shaquille O'Neal, you got to figure out what their weaknesses are and their strengths are. And I think the Atlanta Hawks did a wonderful job of understanding what Trey's weaknesses are. We know that Trey Young, like they focus so much on putting players around him that was super athletic, like you were saying. They just put athletes around him and said Trey gonna get them the ball all day. They don't really have to shoot the ball with. Well, they didn't do that. They focused on Trey's weaknesses and said, all right, these guys are gonna help cover up what he doesn't do on the defensive end. The Ace of Noahs, the Nikhil Alexander, or whatever the hell his name is,
The
and then
Noms. The
yeah,
Noms.
the Knowles. All right, we got him. Those two guys right off the bat, and then you got a guy like Kennard. Like he's another one of those guys. If they focus on trade too long, you got a guy right there that's gonna be able to look. If you leave him open 9 times out of 10, he gonna hit that one. So you got the Hawk did a wonderful job of understanding what Trey's weaknesses is, and it's largely due to the fact that he doesn't play great defense. He's got better, but he's still not that great at defense. But now you got a bunch of athletes and a bunch of guys that can play defense now, and you got a younger, a more athletic center in Ace of Noah. Like he can play that. He can play the four and he can play the five. He's going to play a five in this system. So like I just hate to tell people 6'9",
Mm.
6'10", he's going to play the five, especially with this lineup. Like he's going to be able to do that. And that's the thing I like.
Basically, John Collins all over again.
John Collins all over again. So I thought the Hawks did a wonderful job of just understanding what Trey's weaknesses are. It's just like when Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was a tremendous athlete, played good defense, a tremendous athlete, score, but he couldn't do everything. So what they do? They just said, Mike, you know what? You can do all this other stuff. We're not gonna worry about defense. We're not gonna worry about you holding running the offense. We're gonna bring Scottie Pippen in and all those guys to do that for you. And I think that's what the Hawks did.
Yeah. So before we get to the next topic, I do have one question. This is the final question that I have about the Hawks. Giannis Antetokounmpo, because that keeps popping up here. How would you feel about the Hawks actually acquiring a Giannis Antetokounmpo? But what the proposed trade that I saw was it was for a 2026 first and second round pick, 27 first round pick, Zachary Ricochet, I think it said Dyson Daniels and Jalen Johnson. What's your thought on that?
Bitch, please get on your motherfucking knees. Hell no, bitch, please. Are you crazy? That's the whole damn team.
That's
Dyson
why that
Daniels, Zachary Ricochet, JJ, and some first and that first man, you got to be crazy.
yeah, cause that's the biggest issue that I have about trading for guys like that is because now you're giving up core value. You like you say, in order for you to make trades like that, you got to give up core pieces that could benefit your team in the long run. And the thing is, if you're talking about Zachary Ricochet, Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, those are three important cogs for this team right now. If I wanted a 6'10", 240 pound guy who's athletic but can't shoot worth of shit, nah, I'm good on that. We already got that. We gotta get away. We gotta get away from thinking that the big name is gonna take us over the top. You gotta actually build a team, people. This ain't just a football conversation. This is a sports conversation itself. You gotta build a team. You gotta have a team.
I mean, we seeing right now that building a team is the way to go because you look at Los Angeles, they a mess because they just thought LeBron was good enough, that Luca was good enough for them to win. And it's like, yeah, you got them two, but you ain't got shit else. Like that's not a recipe for success to build a super team without the team. You just got two super guys and nothing else.
Hmm. And Southside said Trey and Giannis pick and roll would be dangerous though. Would it really be? Because you know Giannis is rolling to the basket.
You know he rolling. He ain't finna shoot.
He ain't popping shit. He ain't
He
popping
ain't
shit
finna
with
shoot.
his mouth. And if Giannis get traded, you know Thaddeus is gonna be here too, right? I don't
Mm,
think Hall saying won't deal with Thaddeus.
I don't know. I don't need the nonsense. Hey, nope, I'm good on that pimp.
Because I actually think a Porzingis pick and roll, pick and pop is more dangerous than a Trey Young and Giannis pick and roll. Because I know at least with Porzingis, I know I have a guy who can at least hit the mid range jump shot on a consistent basis. Now, the biggest issue is can his ass stay healthy?
That right there is the question, my friend. That right there is the question. Can he stay healthy?
Right. So let's go ahead and get right to the next topic in itself. Topic number two is what it called. This is the Atlanta Falcons portion of the show. The Matt Ryan quarterback standard.
Uh-oh.
Now, when you hear that term, the Matt Ryan quarterback standard, what comes to your mind when you hear that?
I was wondering why I'm doing that though.
I thought you was about to say the reasons that we here, the reasons that we fear our feelings won't disappear. But
But I'm
when you hear that term, what you thinking of?
a bunch of crying, a bunch of crybabies. When I hear the Matt Ryan standard, I instantly start thinking about crybabies, and probably not in the way that you probably thinking. Most people probably thinking, but I just hear a bunch of whiny fucking punks. All right, that's what y'all some whiny bitches. When I hear the Matt Ryan standard. Why? Because y'all nobody wants to be held to the Matt Ryan standard.
Mm.
Nobody wants to be held to that standard. So I just hear a bunch of fucking crybabies.
Now, let me ask everybody that's watching the show right now. In your mind, what do you think is the quote unquote Matt Ryan standard? And I'm gonna give you why I call it the Matt Ryan standard. I want to hear what everybody else had to say before I give my answer on that. I want
Mm-hmm.
to see if we're on the same page. They gonna say I'm talking about hypocritical
Well,
logic comes to
we
mind.
know he gonna get in on this party.
Mhm. Because I find because I have a theory when it comes to this, and I don't think I think it's about as simple as it's not that complicated of what I think it is, but it's just a lot of layers to it. Sam said hero expectations. Okay. Let's see, we got hero expectations. Okay. Do we got any more people giving their thoughts on what the Matt Ryan standard is? Shit, I'm surprised. I'm surprised we get a few other folks in here that jumping in on this answer. All right.
Don't talk too fast. Don't talk too fast. You know, like they like roaches, boy. They smell some cornbread on the ground. Everybody running for it.
Okay. So this is what my idea of what is called the Matt Ryan standard for
Mhm.
quarterbacks. Essentially, what it is an expectation at the quarterback position into which mistakes, lack of championship success
Mhm.
tarnishes your entire legacy.
Hmm.
Now, what I mean by that is when you're looking at Atlanta Falcons fans, Atlanta Falcon content creators, sports media pundits, and etc.
Mhm.
What is the main thing that they always say about Matt Ryan from what you've heard?
From the media pundits. Yeah, he put up a lot of numbers. Yeah, he's won the MVP and he's done so much, and he's brought his team back so many times, but it's not good enough. That's not good enough for me to give him credit.
Mm.
It's always a but when it comes down to Matt
And
Ryan.
that's the simplistic way of putting it. It
Mm-hmm.
always comes with a but.
Mm-hmm.
But Sam said it here in the chat too. Have you noticed that every other quarterback that's ever played this game has never been held to that standard?
Nobody.
Is there any other quarterback that that's been held to that standard of your whole team's livelihood, no matter how good you play, it's your fault?
I'm gonna say something that a lot of people not gonna like me saying, but I
Mm,
think the little hybrid in Kansas City and Missouri right now, he's starting to defeat that. They
mm,
don't like that hybrid. They don't like him. He don't fit in with white people. He don't fit in with black people, and
mm,
that's very interesting to be saying that because like now this dude has done so much in this game. Like he's done so much in the game. Um, like he like now there's like it ain't been a lot of quarterbacks in the game that has won back to back Super Bowls. Like it's not many guys in the league that has ever done it. And you look at him, it's like I bet you can't do it three times. See, you suck. I told you Lamar was the best quarterback in the universe. This man
mm,
done won two back to back Super Bowls, three Super Bowl. He won three championships, two of them back to back.
mm,
And we're up here talking about whether or not that's not good enough. Like though he's the only one that they want to say, all right, yeah, but. I'm like, huh? What you mean, yeah, but? This guy's won two back-to-back Super Bowls, three championships, and he's done all of this under 10 years. Under 10 years in the league. So I don't see nobody in the league that they hold to a certain standard. And I'm not that even with that being said, with Patrick Mahomes, he still doesn't get as much of the hate and disdain that a Matt Ryan has done. And that's saying a lot. And like I said,
mm,
I'm gonna be real. The only reason why Patrick Mahomes is not regarded as the greatest quarterback of all time is because he's an NIGGA. You can drink, drunk, and smoke weed all day. That's it. That's the reason why they don't like. That's why they don't like him. That's why they don't want to give him credit because his skin a little darker than the Caucasians that they used to grooming to be grooming to be the grooming to be the super mega stars of and to represent the NFL. I don't mean the Diddy grooming, y'all.
Well,
They don't like mixed breeds. Okay.
and this right here is kind of the reason why. Now, this is kind of the reason why you hear the conversation that we have about, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen. I want y'all to pay attention on why we having the conversation about those three more frequently.
Mm-hmm.
Because even with Joe Burrow, and this is very interesting with Joe Burrow here in just this past couple seasons. And Mike, I think you put the short out on this where you was talking about Joe Burrow is on pace to have a career like Matt Ryan.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And there's similarities to that just for the simple fact that it's pretty much the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference is Joe Burrow gets none of the blame for any of the losses that they take in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm. Who doesn't? Which is
Josh
funny.
Allen,
That's hilarious to me.
and like you said, Josh Allen,
Mm-hmm. Another one of those
he's
guys.
another one of those guys. And we've seen games with Josh Allen. He threw his team out of games
Yep. I
quite
mean,
a
he
few
did it against
times.
us. He did it against us when we played him.
Right. They got saved. They got saved by a bogus call.
Mm-hmm.
That was wild. And like you said, the same thing happened with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
When
That's
he
funny.
fucks up, it's everybody else's fault.
Yep.
When they win, it's all because of him.
Mm-hmm. It's all because of Lamar. Like it's all
So
because of him.
so let's dig deep. Let's dig into that question. So
Mm-hmm.
is the Matt Ryan standard for quarterbacks, since we've already established the fact that he's the only quarterback that's ever had that standard, does this dig deeper than what is on the football field? Because the one thing I did notice too, did does, if y'all paid, I don't know if y'all paid attention to this,
Mm-hmm.
but when they come down to talking about the Atlanta Falcons, if you notice the way these media pundits bring up Matt Ryan, do y'all notice kind of like the disdain energy they have when his name is brought up? Because
Mm.
I've paid quite a lot. I paid a lot of attention to stuff like that, and I think that's just something that just really needs to be brought to the surface. That's why I asked the question: Is the Matt Ryan standard, is that equated to the uh what I call the go away and never come back type of energy?
Man, I look. Y'all know I'm a huge quarterback guy. And I've seen a lot of quarterbacks and I've seen a lot of bad quarterbacks.
Mm.
But I've just never seen the disdain and hatred for a guy and not wanting to give him any credit. I just never seen that. I have never seen that. Like most media and fans, like they don't want to give Matt Ryan any because the thing is it's the complete opposite of right now. Like they want to say quarterbacks are the reason why this guy's good and that guy's good, but when it comes down to Matt Ryan, like It's because he had Michael Turner. It's because he had Devontae Freeman. It's because he had Julio. He had Roddy. He had Tony Gonzalez. He had all these guys. It's because of this.
Mm.
I just never seen that. Like Brett Favre has gotten more credit. I mean, this dude is he gonna throw more interceptions than any quarterback in NFL history, and he get more love than Matt Ryan. Matt
Matt
Ryan is
Stafford.
one of the more all
Matt
like
Stafford got more love in Detroit than Matt Ryan got in Atlanta. And they
mm-hmm,
went to the playoffs once
once.
with Megatron.
Mm-hmm. They never said, "Oh, he's only good because of Megatron." They never said that. But every time you hear a Matt Ryan come up, is because oh he had this and he had this person and he had this guy and he had that. Lamar Jackson has not done a damn thing, and he's regarded as the greatest quarterback. And I saw this goofy ass shit, and I just want to, you know what? I was about to say something really disgusting, but I'm not gonna say. Um, um,
Mm.
I saw something that made me really want to. I really want to backhand him, pimp like a pimp does. And this dude had the fucking nerve to say, and I'm talking about Miss Thing. Miss Thing had the fucking mitigated gall to say Lamar Jackson deserved to be the number one overall pick in 2018. Bitch, please. Did you see that motherfucker at Louisville? Ain't nothing changed since about his game. Ain't nothing changed. He's a running goof who still can't get the ball into his wide receiver's hand. And then I hear Deshaun D Hop up here talking about there was a missing element with Baltimore. And he feel like he's the answer. You think you know what? But
But
I'm not gonna get in that.
see the thing that comes with that now is they have to prove it. I mean, the thing is at the end of the day, whether these media folks like or dislike Patrick Mahomes, the thing is he, he won Super Bowl MVPs and he's done won championship.
Everything.
Like I said, y'all may try to discredit that as much because he was the wrong nigga to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, too light for him. He too light for them.
No, he no, because the thing was, it was ordained for Lamar Jackson to be the one to kind of be the next in line.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is it hasn't happened in that capacity like that. The Southside here said we have to be honest about the Matt Ryan situation. If he had got drafted by any other team rather than the Falcons, he would have been loved. Now
I
that's a very
wholeheartedly
interesting
disagree with
conversation.
that. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. And I'm gonna tell you why as a give go.
No, go ahead, speak on it.
Nobody wanted him in that draft. The greatest coach of all time said he didn't believe in Matt Ryan. You know who that is, Kev?
Bill Parcells.
Bill Parcells didn't see anything great in Matt Ryan. He passed on him.
You sure? Cause he was what? Wait a minute.
He
Cause he
was
was coaching the Cowboys
he
at the
was with
time, right?
Miami at that time. Bill Parcells went back.
Oh,
You
you
can
talking
look
about
it
no?
up.
You talking about Nick Saban? I think that was Nick Saban.
No. Bill Parcells, he was the head, but they passed on Matt Ryan.
Mm.
And they got the offensive lineman, Jake
Jake
Long.
Long, Jake Long.
They passed on him because he was the guy, he was the head guy. I think he was the president of football operations. Parcells said one of the greatest mistakes of his career was passing on Matt Ryan. So nobody, two teams passed on Matt Ryan, and the Falcons were able to get him at 3.
Mm.
So I don't believe that nobody thought that Matt Ryan was going to be any good. The Falcons was just one of them teams that said, "Look, we like them. We gonna get them." And I think I think it would it come down to the NFL got outsmarted by the Atlanta Falcons and got one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, and they don't like the fact. It goes back to the same thing what I was saying about Mr. Jerry Glanville. He's one of the greatest disrespected. I'm talking about innovators of football this game has ever had. Everything about that the 70s, 80s, and the 70s and 80s Atlanta Falcons is what we're seeing in the NFL right now. The spread offense, the quarterback with the big time arm who can scramble around, the amoeba defenses being super aggressive, the 3-4, the grits blitz, like all of that we seeing today. Jerry
Mm.
Glanville was doing that back then. He was doing that 20, 40 years ago. And now the NFL is just now starting to get it. So I think
Mm.
I think it's much deeper than just Matt Ryan. The NFL just got like they don't like the fact that the Atlanta Falcons were right when they was building this team. That they were pretty much just seeing into the future of what the NFL is, or what it eventually became.
So what you're saying is that Matt Ryan was the Make a Wish kid they didn't think would amount to anything.
Yes, exactly,
Mm.
absolutely.
And with the love and admiration of what Mike Vick was in Atlanta, that actually added more to that disdainment to it because
Hmm.
it was like, who's going to be the next guy to replace him?
Yep.
Because I remember in 2007, I know we all remember 2007, Joey Harrington, Chris Ridley,
Oh
Byron
boy, that was
Leftwich.
a nightmare.
And a lot of people don't realize what that was. It was actually supposed to have been set up for DJ Shockley to possibly be the starter that year
Yep.
if he had tore his knee up and lost his career in the preseason.
Hmm.
Oh,
Another
I
one of
ain't.
the
Mhm. And like you said, what just ended up happening, and like you said, kind of looking into the future of things, it ended up being the right decision you made because in hindsight, if you really look at a lot of the quarterbacks that came out after Matt Ryan, it really wasn't that many that lasted long in the league.
nope.
It really wasn't really until 2016, between 2008 and 2016. Like after 2016, and 2016 is barely pushing it because of Jared Goff. Like you said, you got the Russell Wilsons and you got well, at that point in time, the Kirk Cousins of the world and stuff like that. It wasn't that many quarterbacks to come into this league to actually be impact guys.
Mm-mm.
It really wasn't until Patrick Mahomes. It wasn't until Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. These guys coming in post 2017.
Mm-hmm. Nobody thought Patrick Mahomes would be what he is, and that's why I put him on the same plane as Matt Ryan. Nobody thought
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes would be what he is today.
So you think of so let me ask y'all a question. Would y'all have been fine as Falcon fans if you'd have went between 2008 to 2017 with a quarterback carousel every year?
True boy.
Because you weren't bad enough to be the number one overall pick to get Matt Stafford, so that shit's out of the question.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody that's watching this, Would you have been fine for the Atlanta Falcons to go through the quarterback carousel that the Cleveland Browns have been going through for the last 20 years?
Ooh,
These
boy.
motherfuckers is literally working on quarterback number 24 since the year 2000.
Shit, they got about 20 of them on roster now. Shit.
One of them motherfuckers got started. It's getting kind of quiet in here now. It's getting, it's
Mm-hmm.
getting, it's real quiet in here.
Which is interesting.
Let me ask that question one more time. As a Falcon fan, would you have been happy to go through the quarterback carousel process that the Cleveland Browns have been going through for the last 20 years?
Mm.
Because me, honestly, that would have definitely been some nasty work right there, too. That would have been a ugly sight to see in a Falcon uniform. A new quarterback every year for at least 10 years. I mean, we've already kind of seen it the last 3 years, the last three, 4 years. We've kind of seen a tad bit of that. And some of y'all asses already was nervous about that shit. Could you imagine doing that for 10 plus years?
Woo, boy.
Come on now. Don't everybody don't speak up at once now.
Come on, y'all. Good gracious. I'm sure y'all got something to say.
Lord. I guess what ended up happening here, what ended up happening, I guess we're saying the quiet part out loud now. So nobody got nothing to really say on that, which is surprising to me because usually the question is Southside. I'm gonna say this again. Would you have loved the Atlanta Falcons to go through the quarterback carousel that the Cleveland Browns have been doing for the last 20 years? Year after year after year after year after year. After Mike Vick. Because we're hoping now that Michael Pettis Jr. is actually that stability in that situation. Is that we're hoping for him to be the stability at that quarterback position that we have not had in the last 4 years. He's outside saying, "Hell no!" I said, "I barely got through 3 years after that, right?"
But that's the thing. Like nobody wants to live through the bad times, but y'all want to erase Matt Ryan's accomplishments.
Mhm. The thing is, your own personal feelings about Matt Ryan is not going to erase what he has been in the Atlanta Falcons organization. The very things that you criticize him for are the very same criticisms everybody else that has played it at that position gets. The Mike Vicks, the Chris Millers, the Steve Barkowskis, the Chris Millers. Ghost Peppers here said Parcells also expressed regret over drafting Pat White in the second round of the 2009 draft, calling it a mistake driven by fever in the personnel department.
That's code for that white boy ain't athletic enough. He doesn't
Nah,
throw well. He doesn't throw well. He doesn't run well.
Nah,
He's
nah, you
just
talking
smart.
about Pat. You talking about Pat White from
No, no,
West
no.
Virginia.
I'm saying what he talking
Yeah.
about. He talking about Pat White being drafted. He's
Mm,
saying I'm talking about the last part of that sentence, and fever in the
mm,
personnel. All they was
Fever.
saying that because Matt Ryan just wasn't. Look, these scouts get carried away with these damn combine numbers, and oh, he can throw the ball 80 yards in the air and all that bullshit. And the
Mm,
reason why they didn't want to draft Matt Ryan because Matt Ryan was a white boy who couldn't run fast, didn't have an amazing arm. He was just a fucking winner, and he was just incredibly smart. Nobody cares about a winner. Nobody cares
look,
about somebody that
he
just.
he didn't have the eye popping. He didn't have the eye popping of physical traits, but he had the intangibles. And
So
they
basically,
looked
he
at it.
didn't have a Cardi.
Yeah.
He didn't have a Cardi
So
B, big
basic.
booty, and all that shit. And oh, you got the crazy features. Matt Ryan didn't have the features. All right, that's all it come down to. He didn't have the exotic features that we see on a lot of these people. That's all it come down to.
And, and that's why the city of Atlanta never really truly appreciated what he did in his career until now, because they looked at him as the goofy looking white boy who replaced my favorite player. And he never and the AJCs, the Atlanta talk media never forgave him for that for his whole career. But they found it out the last 3, 4 years that sometimes the grass ain't always green on the other side. But like you said, this is where we're hoping that Michael Penix Jr. can bridge that and actually be the stability at that position. Because the thing is, you don't want to go through another process of trying to find another quarterback if Michael Penix ain't living up to what they need him to live up to. So I'm gonna keep it short and simple on what the Matt Ryan standard is. The Matt Ryan standard was a standard that was created by Atlanta Falcon fans and Atlanta Falcon media, sports media, that said if you don't win a Super Bowl, your accomplishments mean nothing.
Your accomplishments, you passed for 50,000 plus yards, having over 200 wins in your career, which is Hall of Fame worthy in itself. Being one of
Mhm.
like the best clutch quarterbacks in NFL history. He's a top 10 guy in that category as well. None of that matters because you didn't give us a Super Bowl.
Hmm. Your defense gave up almost 30 points a game in that season, but it's your fault. Your defense was on the field for 96 plays in the Super Bowl, but it's your fault. I mean, only thing I'm saying is a guy like Joe Burrow, even though he led the league in passing last year for the Cincinnati Bengals, remember he was in the Super Bowl and they had a lead. So Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen are all judged by us over here at the Unholy Alliance solely based on what we call the Matt Ryan standard. Your status is overrated until you win a Super Bowl. If you don't like it, it's your fault because that is the standard that y'all set. So, Mike, you got any final words on this before we go into the final topic of the show?
At the end of the day, man, we gotta stop looking at these clowns at quarterback positions and clowns at wide receiver positions that run a 4-2 and they super athletic, but they dumb as a fucking box of rocks. Okay, they can't read a defense, but these motherfuckers can run like hell, and they very quick and they very exciting. They put up a bunch of numbers that don't mean anything, but when you need them to do something clutch, they can't goddamn pinch your baby's ass hard. Okay, We got to stop looking at them as like they're the standard, and that's the bottom line because I motherfucking said so.
All right. So let's go ahead and get to the final topic of the show. We gonna talk about the Diddy stuff, aka Iceberg Diddy. So for y'all probably been already been keeping up with y'all probably keeping up with it more than I do. Your boy Diddy, a lot of you got some charges that he was not found guilty of and charges that he was found guilty of. And it's very interesting. Um, so Mike, I want you to kind of give your takes on how do you feel about what he's been charged, found guilty of, and why do you and what do you think that means?
I mean,
First of all, before you do that, just let the people know what he got found guilty of.
the charge obviously where he was essentially the man act is basically traveling state lines, going from state to state, city to city, with the intention of having sex. Um, Often for money, but often it's just having certain parties that ends up in financial gain. So basically, Diddy was taking prostitutes that were a part of certain types of rings and companies and whatnot. A lot of these companies are legal companies, and what happens is they have certain models. It's like agency,
Mhm.
a modeling agency, and they hire these or quote unquote models to go from city to city or meet up with this person with the intention of having sex. Now, the company in itself is a legal company. Okay, the company itself is a legal company, but they hire a lot of these people with the intention to have sex with a lot of superstars, and we actually see this with a lot of professional models on top of it. So what happened was Diddy was going from state to state with these escorts, if you will, and
Mhm.
um and he was essentially making monies under the table that wasn't documented for the most part, which is called prostitution. You can't go from city to city, state to state, with the intention of having sexual intercourse, um, for a certain amount of financial gains. So that's what he was uh, charged with,
Mhm.
essentially a prostitution sting.
So basically, he was pimping hoes. That's what you saying. He was pimping hoes
Mm-hmm.
because what it said, the charges that so far that he's been charged with was the transportation for prostitution purposes or something like that. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
the exact
Yes.
legal terms they use. And I know they said he wasn't found guilty on the trafficking and the racketeering part of things neither.
Mm-hmm.
But I just find it just very interesting that sometimes I just look at some of our folks in our community and I'm like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with us? You got folks outside the damn court building spraying each other with baby oil in support of this. I'm like, uh,
Yeah, I got my thoughts on that.
you got Boosie talking about that this was a win for hip hop. I like, uh, we y'all really trying to go down this route right now? I like, bro, y'all made this shit just look like a bad look. Y'all just make this shit look like the R. Kelly episode from the Boondocks right now.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody remember that episode, it's literally playing out this exact same way.
Mm-hmm.
Am I being a little far? Am I kind of reaching on that? Because, like you said, and I was actually watching that episode last night. Actually, I like that looks that looks almost the damn same. Instead of you talking about R. Kelly urinating on a woman, you got Diddy out here pimping hoes. Um, next thing you know, he gonna be talking about can't stop, won't stop, and start Harlem shaking in the courtroom. But he was denied bail though,
Mm-hmm.
so he still got his ass behind bars.
Yep.
So go and say what you want. Go and say what you want to say about that though.
I,
Yes, outside the motherfucker outside the courtroom, taking their shirts and wigs off, spraying each other with baby oil. Yeah, it's real. Go ahead, buddy.
I mean, like the thing is, I I have a major problem with society in its entirety. 'Cause this is why guys like him, like they feel like they can do whatever they want to do, and I have a major problem me having five sisters, and I know that women can be impressionable. Not all, but they can be impressionable because they want things in life and certain situations, depending on your background. You know, like if you come from a family and you're the oldest or you're the most talented, your family look at you as the like as the way to make our family, you know, rich. So you have a certain amount of expectations that comes along with that. And I think, especially as black people, we don't like thinking. We just think, all right, if it's not in our understanding at that particular moment, then it must be against, oh, it's all about us being black. No. Like anybody who said, oh, Cassie wanted it and all, it's like, obviously, y'all have never been in any type of position of not only power or you haven't been in a position where you had to do what you had to do to get that paycheck. Sometimes you got to do whatever it takes to get that paycheck just to even survive in certain things. So you had to do certain things in order to do it. So if this person holds a key over your head and say, all right, you either be homeless or you get on your knees and let me do what those people did to Cassie and piss on her. And then you wonder why she's saying to herself, shit, look, let's go, let's get it. Her mentality is, look, I don't have another way. I can't do anything else. This is my only way to not only make it for myself, but for my family. I don't have another way. Nobody cares about that type of shit. Sometimes you do have to do what you got to do in order to help build your family. So it's like doing, it's like I said, a lot of people do some things, get into doing things that they not proud of. Just and that's the problem that I have. It's just like, and then the biggest problem with that, kill, not to be too long winded, is that guys like him know that. They know they got all the keys to make people do whatever the fuck they want to do. And it's not because they like they're searching for the spotlight. I mean, some of them search for the spotlight. It's like some of them don't want to do it, but they need it so badly they're willing to just deal with somebody blacking their eyes.
Right.
They just willing to do whatever it takes just to keep that. They doing whatever it takes, and I think that's more evil than someone actually getting into it and losing themselves into that. Because I actually had a girlfriend that was in the music industry, and she was propositioned by large music executives that told her if she doesn't sleep with this particular guy, then she loses her deal. She refused, and they sent her ass back to the states and said, you kind of outlawed. So
Mm,
I've seen what this is. I know what it's like.
mm.
They people sick, bro. They just want to record you doing the sickest stuff because they know they can just make you do it because they know you want the money and they know you want the fame. So they get off on the fact that you just like a puppet. That you're basically a puppet, and they can get you to do whatever they look. They can get you butt naked in a dress and sucking the donkey toe. You know what I'm saying? Like they can get you to do
So
anything
about
because they
you
know
talk
you
about
want
you talk you you talk about why those Dubai trips are so popular
it.
amongst the IG models.
Yes. Yeah,
What's going on, G?
you
Shout out
do.
Utah Sports. I know he kind of came in. He's coming in kind of in the SCS part of the show.
Yeah, people sick, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the problem
but
that I have with like a lot of these people that just pointing the finger at a lot of these victims because it's easy to get lost into a lifestyle when you don't have a lot of choices, man. It's easy, believe me. It's easy to get lost in that.
right. So if you're able to gatekeep the success by by that holding the carrot over the person, yeah, you got all the power in the world. And unfortunately, Diddy is one of those gatekeepers. Jay-Z is one of those gatekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times that's just what it comes down to in that music industry like that. But as far as Diddy not being charged on certain things, y'all think this shit is over with? This shit ain't over with.
Oh, it's not over with.
It ain't over with. It's still a lot of different charges that are coming up here soon.
So that's how it is about the dominance of and that's what I mean. People don't like that. Look, man, people can say whatever they want to say about certain people's, you know, sexuality, whatever the case may be. But like until you've been in that position where you can make monkeys dance, just by the simple fact that you heard you're either the manager over somebody, you're the you're the CEO of a company, and you can just get people to do whatever you want to just because you're you. I think that's sick. I think it's worse than people actually going through and doing bad, like doing certain things. I think that's
So
worse. I think it's worse. I think it kills. I think when you know that you got a certain power and stance and stature of a person and you take advantage of that, I think you're absolutely worse than the people that are doing these sexual favors. I think it's worse.
mm, that makes sense. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. But we're gonna go ahead and get up on out of here. It's about close to 7:30. So yeah, we about to definitely get up on out of here, man. Make sure y'all stay tuned. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for more content, not just on this channel. Like I said, it's been kind of a hectic week for you, boy. These 13, like I said, 13, 14 hour days been kicking my ass. That's why you haven't really been seeing me doing a lot of shows or a lot of content here recently and other things that's going on in my life. But like I said, man, trying to slowly, surely get back into the groove of things over here on System K Live. Like I said, man, next goal we try to get to 1,600 subscribers. We are 50 away. Um, Mike is closing in on 11,000 subscribers on Mad Mike Sports.
Mm-hmm.
What you bought, like 22 away from there or something like that?
28. Hold on. 98. Yeah. Hold on. What the hell? 982. With that another 10, that's 990. So I'm 18 away.
So 18 away. We got Utah Sports who's closing in on 3K here. Like you said, you make sure you subscribe to the Heavy Hitters Live.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Anime come up here talking shit. So
You go. You shut up, woman. Ain't got time for your mess. Hey, you better have my
I,
dinner ready too, woman.
like I said, man, I'm about to go here and I'm about to enjoy. Like you said, just turned 38 yesterday, so sure, we about to enjoy the
You
weekend.
old, nigga. You old, nigga.
I feel old right now, though. The way work been kicking my ass, but I feel old.
Uh,
I feel old. I think working all them damn hours, I think I done lost about damn pounds in itself.
I'm gaining weight. My sister telling me I'm fat again, so
Yeah,
that's kind of hard to
I've been
believe.
I've been working so hard, I barely had time to eat anything. I just say that much. So, hey, we gonna do the damn thing here, man. Like I said, make sure you support the Heavy Hitters Live as the NFL season
Mhm.
is coming up, and we're about to be real active on that on that channel here soon, as
Yes.
well as the Unholy Alliance.
Hmm.
So, till next time, people, you ain't here to play.
Oh no.
We here to stay.
Oh yeah, nigga.
You ain't gotta go home.
But you got to get the hell out of here. Ooh yeah.
I'm so glad to be off work tomorrow. I need to sleep. I need a chance just to rest. I haven't rested at all.
Nah, I definitely believe you.
All right, man. We out here.
Put your eyes back in your head.
Popped out like flavor, flavor.
Pry their eyes open and force them to see the truth. We will skin the sheep and sacrifice the weak. The Unholy Alliance has arrived.